Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to ask the question, can you beat Pokemon Black with only Gothita? Now you're probably asking, why Gothita? Well, the simple answer is because I can. Now the actual reason is because I was looking through some websites, and apparently on Screamrant's website, and apparently they put Gothita at number 6 of the most worthless Psychic-type Pokemon. Number 6, that's ridiculous. So this video is pretty much to prove Screamrant wrong. Because I personally think Gothita is a pretty cool Pokemon, and I'm about to prove it here today in this video. Because Gothita reminds me of myself, because it too looks dead inside. Now when it comes to the rules, they're pretty self-explanatory. I will not be allowed to evolve Gothita at any point during the run, and to make life harder on myself, I will not be allowed to use items in battle, excluding held items. Only the Everstone and the Lucky Egg, all other held items are banned. Obviously no glitches and exploits will be allowed during the run, and to make the challenge actually possible, HM Slays will obviously be used. Now with our challenge set and our rules defined, it is finally time for us to get into the challenge. Start off the challenge by choosing our sex, which doesn't really matter because sex is a construct of our imagination. But if I must choose, I obviously choose male. Now before you ask my character's name, I obviously choose dead because you all know that I'm dead inside. Anyway, after completing the intro, it's time for us to choose our starter. Now if you haven't been following along because you're a bit slow, we obviously choose Gothita as our starter. And now it is time for us to finally battle Bianca. I start the battle by hitting an Oshawott for just under half of its HP with Confusion. Then it follows up by hitting me with Tackle, doing about 6 damage. I then proceed to hit it 2 more times with Confusion, taking it out. All Oshawott does is waste its turn using Tail Whip. Beating Oshawott racks me up 43 experience points and I almost level up. And now with Bianca down, it's time for us to battle Cheran. To start off the battle against Cheran, I go for Confusion, doing slightly less damage than I did to Oshawott. It's about a 4-hit KO. His Tepig then proceeds to hit me with a critical tackle, knocking me all the way down to 9 HP, which is really sad. Now if I'm being honest, at this point I thought the battle was pretty much over, especially when my next turn I accidentally used Pound, doing exactly 2 damage. Then for an unexplainable reason, Tepig uses Tail Whip, and then I hit it with Confusion, knocking it down into the red. Now instead of trying to finish me off, Tepig goes for another Tail Whip, giving me an opening to hit it once with Confusion, winning the battle and taking it out. And then I level up to level 6 and defeat both of my rivals. Shortly after leaving Nuvema Town, we have our first mysterious encounter with N. Now on this point of the game, N has a Purloin, which is a dark type, meaning that I can't hit it with my psychic type moves, so I have to use Pound. It outspeeds me and uses Scratch, doing exactly 3 damage, and then I retaliate with a critical Pound, knocking it down to just over half health. Now on N's next turn, he goes for Growl, lowering my attack, but joke's on him because I go for Tickle, lowering both the attack and defense of Purloin. Purloin then continues to use Scratch, doing barely any damage to me, and then I take it out with 2 more Pounds, beating N for the very first time. Now before I continue the video, I have to tell you guys this run will be a little bit different than all my other runs. I won't be showing every rival fight in the entire game because there's so many of them, and it just pads the runtime of the video. I'll only be showing ones that are difficult or I have trouble with, or that I find of any interest. Now a short time after beating N, it's time for our second rival fight with Bianca. This time around she opens up the battle by sending out Lollipop. Now Lollipop is level 6, and I am level 11, so I outspeed it, hit it with Confusion, knocking it way under half health, almost into the red. Then Bianca decides it'd be a great idea to use Leer instead of attacking. Now she wastes a potion on Lollipop, healing it to full health, but it won't save her. I get 2 free attacks off using Confusion both times, taking out Lollipop. Next up is Oshawott. Now I start off the battle against Oshawott by using Tickle because we all know nothing strikes fear more into someone's heart than being tickled. Oshawott then uses Tackle, doing almost no damage, and then I use Confusion, knocking it down to under half health, and then I get the Confusion on Oshawott. Now unfortunately for Oshawott, it hits itself with Confusion, knocking itself into the red. And then it's time to finally put Oshawott out of its misery with one last Confusion, beating Bianca once again. After defeating Bianca, we arrive in the next city, and I'm not going to try and pronounce the city's name because I don't think I could. In the next city, we have to battle Cheran again. Cheran starts the battle by sending out his Tepig, who is level 8 and I am level 11. This should be interesting. I outspeed Tepig still and use Confusion, doing almost exactly half damage, and also again getting lucky and confusing Tepig. Then Tepig hits himself with Confusion, knocking himself into the orange, and making him weak enough for me to take him out with one last Confusion. He then follows up by sending out Purloin. Cheran gets to go first this time around, decides to use Scratch, doing a whopping 3 damage. Now I choose not to attack on my first turn and use Tickle instead, weakening Purloin for a pounding. He then decides to lower my attack with Growl, but my previous plan has already worked and I hit it with a critical Pound, knocking Purloin down into the red. In a desperate attempt, Purloin uses Growl trying to lower my attack, but it's too late and I take it out easily with 1 more Pound. Now I was going to make a joke about how it's a pussycat and I was pounding it, but then I decided against it because I'm better than that. Finally, after defeating Cheran again, it's time for our first attempt at the gym. The gym leader starts the battle by sending out Lollipop, and it uses Bite, which is super effective, knocking me down to 18 health. To make matters worse, I flinch, meaning gets a second bite off, leaving me on 2 health. I've given up at this point, so I just spam Tickle, and then he uses a few workups, taking me out with another bite, which means I think it's finally time for me to grind up. After grinding for a little while, Gothita reaches level 16 and learns Psybeam, a 65 power psychic type move. But before I attempt the gym again, I decide to grind up 2 more levels to level 18. Now for my next attempt at the gym at level 18, I managed to outspeed Sigilyph on the first turn, knocking his health into the orange. He then decides to use Bite, doing about 12 damage. Then the gym leader uses a potion, healing Sigilyph up to almost full health. I use Psybeam again on the next turn, hitting a super lucky crit, taking out Sigilyph. Next up is Panseer. Panseer wastes his first turn using Work Up and then I hit it hard with Psybeam, bringing his health below half. On his next turn, it decides to use Incinerate, doing surprisingly very little damage. And then I end the battle with one last Psybeam, defeating the first gym and claiming our first gym badge. After defeating the first gym, we have our first encounter with the Team Plasma Grunt. The Team Plasma Grunt starts the battle by sending out his Pat Rat. Now Pat Rat starts the battle by using Bite, which kinda scared me, but Confusion does enough damage that I know I can take it out on the next turn. Because it's still using Bite on the next turn, I can easily take it out with one Psybeam, defeating the first Team Plasma member for the run. After a short journey, we arrive at Nasserine City. Now before battling Gym, I have to defeat N once again. Now this battle was pretty easy. N starts the battle with his Pitter, which I one-shot with Psybeam. Next up is Timpole, which I also one-shot with Psybeam. Last but not least sends out Timball, which is a fighting type Pokemon. So guess what? I one-shot it with Psybeam, defeating N. I told you the battle was really easy. Now before attempting the next gym, I decided to put myself through hell and grind up to level 30. To start the battle, I hit Lenora's Herdia for about 75% of its health. Then Herdia uses Leer, a pretty useless move, and then it heals with a super potion, but that doesn't help because I take it out with 2 more Psybeams. Next up is Watchog. Watchog starts off the battle by outspeeding me and using Crunch, which does a lot of damage, knocking me down to 37 HP. Then I use Psybeam. Unfortunately, Psybeam doesn't take it out in one shot, so next turn it finishes me off with Crunch, meaning it's time to retry. On my next attempt, I have to wait for a run where Watchog wastes his first turn using Leer, so I can get 1 free shot off, which takes about 9 attempts to get this run. But once I do, I end up winning with only 2 Psybeams, and with that I have defeated the second gym. Shortly after defeating the second gym, we have to head over Sky Arrow Bridge. So this is the perfect time for a shameless plug. Now if you're enjoying the video up to this point, please leave a like on it and comment down below what you're liking about the video or what your favorite Pokemon is in this generation. And if you're not enjoying the video, please leave a dislike on it and comment down below what I can improve on, because I'm always trying to improve my content and I appreciate all of your comments. Also, while you're down there, please subscribe. We're trying to hit 150 subscribers. We're so close, we're like 18 subscribers away, and I really appreciate a subscription. And now with the shameless plug out of the way, it's time for us to continue on with the video. After a short and annoying bout with Team Plasma, which I definitely skipped because it's a waste of your time, it's time for us to battle the third gym leader, Berg. Now to be totally honest with you guys, I was pretty sure I would not beat this gym on the first attempt, but I've been wrong before, so let's find out. To start off the battle, Berg sends out his Whirlipede. I outspeed Whirlipede, hitting it hard with Psyshock, taking it out in one shot because it's half poison type and is super effective against Whirlipede. He immediately sends out Dwebble next, which I hit with Psyshock, leaving it on about a quarter health, which is a decent amount of damage on Dwebble. And then his Dwebble decides to use Sand Attack, lowering my accuracy. And now to make matters worse, I miss my next attack because of my lowered accuracy. And then Dwebble uses Sand Attack again, lowering my accuracy further, but then I get lucky and hit my next attack, taking out Dwebble. Unfortunately, my accuracy is very low. Last but not least is Leavanny. Leavanny starts with the battle by using Protect so I don't get an attack on this turn, and then next turn he uses Razor Leaf instead of a bug type move, doing a fourth of my health as damage, and then I miss a Psyshock because of Sand Attack, meaning Berg does get a free attack with Razor Leaf. I do hit my next Psyshock though, doing under half damage unfortunately to Leavanny. Then Leavanny uses Protect again, meaning, once again, no attack. Then Leavanny hits me with one more Razor Leaf, taking me down to 10 HP. I follow that up with another miss, and then it takes me out with the Struggle Bug, which probably would have one-shot me if it used it at the start of the battle. Anyway, I guess it's time to try again. On my next attempt, I get lucky and get up to Leavanny again, but this time I only got hit by Sand Attack once, and I am still at full health. Once again, Leavanny opens up with the Razor Leaf, doing 1/4 of my health as damage, and then I hit him with the first Psyshock, doing just under half damage, and then it hits me with the Razor Leaf, leaving me on 28 HP. I accidentally used Feint Attack on my next turn because I'm an idiot. For Leavanny's next turn, he uses Protect, meaning once again, no attack this turn. Then Leavanny uses Razor Leaf on the next turn. I was pretty sure it would take me out, but it didn't. Luckily again, I survive on 6 HP and I take out Leavanny with one more Psyshock, winning the battle and claiming ourselves a third gym badge. Shortly after defeating Berg, we arrive in Nimbasa City, and another encounter with Team Plasma, which you also skipped because it's not worth our time. Anyway, after that awkward moment, it's time for us to battle N once again. To start off the battle, N sends out his Sandar, which I outspeed, hitting it with a pound, doing under half damage, and then it uses Embargo for some reason. Then I follow up with another pound, knocking him into the red, then Sandar uses Assurance, which does about 20 damage to me, and then I take out Sandar with one last pound. Next up he sends out Scraggy. I hit Scraggy with a pound, doing about a quarter damage, then N follows up with Swagger, confusing me and raising my attack. But because I'm super unlucky, I hit myself confusing, doing a decent amount of damage, and then Scraggy hits me with a fan attack, knocking me down to 12 HP. I do hit my next pound, but it doesn't take Scraggy out, so unfortunately Scraggy takes me out with one last attack. I guess it's time to try again. Now, as I mentioned in the rules, if you weren't listening to the rules, then I don't know what's wrong with you. I am allowed to learn and use 1 TM in this run, so I decided to buy Return and use it on my Pokemon to make this battle easier before re-attempting it. so I don't have to grind up to ridiculous levels to beat this fight. If you have a problem with that, leave it in the comments down below, and I'll definitely read it. On my next attempt, I end up one-shotting Sandar with Return, which is kind of surprising. Next up is Scraggy. I hit it with Return as well, but only leaves it with a quarter health, doesn't take it out in one shot. And then to make matters worse, Scraggy uses Swagger, once again confusing me. But this time around I do get super lucky, hitting Scraggy with my next Return, taking it out. Next up is Durumucker. Now again I get super lucky and break through the confusion, hitting Durumucker with Return, taking it out in one shot. Man, I'm getting super lucky. Next up is Sigilyph, and unfortunately my luck runs out and I hit myself with confusion. Then Sigilyph uses Whirlwind, forcing me to switch out to Pampor. Now I just spam Ultra Balls until Sigilyph takes me out. Then I can send out Gothita again. Once I send out Gothita again, Sigilyph uses Air Cutter, taking me down to 27 HP, and then I use Pound, knocking it below half health. And then N decides to use Air Cutter again, somehow I survive on 11 HP, and then I take Sigilyph out with one last Return, and with that we have finally beaten N one more time. And now that N is down for the count, it is time for us to battle Elsa, the 4th gym leader. She starts off the battle with a Mogler. A Mogler uses Volt Switch, meaning it switches out to its other Mogler, and then I hit it with a Psychic, taking it out in one shot with a critical. Next up, Elsa sends out her original Mogler, which uses Pursuit, doing a decent amount of damage to me. And then I take it out with one Psychic, just like the first one. Next up is Zeb Striker. Zeb Striker uses Spark, leaving me on 38 health, and then I hit it with a Psychic, leaving Zeb Striker on about 1/5 of its health. Then Zeb Striker heals up with the Hyper Potion, healing to full health. Then I hit it with another Psychic, doing about the same amount of damage. Then it uses another potion, healing up again. On my next turn, because I run out of Psychic, I have to use Psyshock, doing almost exactly the same amount of damage as Psychic did. Then Zeb Striker uses Spark, leaving me on 11 HP, and then I hit Zeb Striker with one last Psyshock, taking it out and winning the battle and claiming ourselves the 4th gym badge. After defeating the 4th gym, it's time for us to head over to the next town, Driftvale City. Shortly after arriving in Driftvale City, it's time for us to battle Team Plasma. I usually I skip these fights because they're not worth our time, but I thought I'd show you one to show you how easy they are at this point in the run. Now to start off the battle, the Team Plasma grunt sends out his Leopard. He uses Pursuit, doing barely any damage to me, and then I take it out in one shot with Return. Told you it was super easy. After absolutely destroying Team Plasma, it is time to attempt the next gym. Clay starts off the battle by sending out his Croc, which I hit with Return, knocking it into the red, and then it tries to use Swagger, but luckily it misses. Then Clay heals it with a Hyper Potion. I hit it with Return again, but then it heals up again. But I am persistent and hit it once more with Return, taking it into the red, and then one more Return takes it out. Next up is Palpitoad. I start off this fight by hitting Palpitoad with Psychic, taking it down to like 1 HP, and then he uses Bulldoze, doing a little bit of damage to me, and also dropping my speed. And then it outspeeds me on the next turn using Muddy Water, knocking me below half health, and then I hit it with Return, taking out Palpitoad. Last but not least, he sends out Excadrill. He starts the battle with Hone Claws, increasing his attack and accuracy, and then I hit it with a Psychic, doing barely any damage. And then he hits me with a Slash, leaves me on like 1 HP, and then I hit it with Return, knocking his HP into the orange. Then he uses another Slash, taking me out. I guess it's time to grind up a little bit. I decide to re-attempt the battle at level 50. At level 50 I one-shot Croc with Return. Next up is Palpitoad. Now against Palpitoad, instead of using Return I use Psychic. The Psychic still takes it out in one shot. Now with Palpitoad down, last but not least, time to send out Excadrill. Once again, Excadrill starts off the battle by using Hone Claws, raising its attack and accuracy. Then I use Return, doing less than half damage. It's about a 4-hit KO. Then he uses Slash, doing under half damage to me. I then proceed to use Psychic, somehow knocking it into the red. It then heals with a potion to full health. I decide to use Psychic again, but it does a lot less damage this time around, under half, and then it does lower my special offense, but that doesn't matter because I get lucky on my next turn, taking it out with a critical Psychic, and somehow claiming the 5th gym badge. Now nothing really happens on the way to the next gym, except for a super easy battle against N, which you're seeing the end of because it was so laughably simple. Anyway, shortly after leaving Chargestone Cave, we arrive in the next city, which means it's time for the next gym battle against Skyler. Skyler starts off the battle by sending out her Subat. Her Subat decides to use Amnesia, raising its special defense. Then I use Fan Attack, taking it out in one shot because of the physical move. Next up, Skyler sent out her Unpheasant. Unpheasant uses Leer, lowering my defense. Then I use Psychic, taking it out in one shot. Last but not least, Skyler sends out her Swanna. Swanna begins the battle with Aqua Ring, wasting its turn. And then I use Psychic, knocking it down into orange HP. And then it uses Aerial Ace, knocking me down to half health. But unfortunately it's too late for Swanna and take it out one last Psychic, easily winning the battle and claiming ourselves a 6th gym badge. Now after defeating the 6th gym, it's only a short journey until we arrive into Icarus City. Now be warned, in Icarus City it's very sunny, you don't want to get too close to the sun, because it's very dangerous. Let me know if you get that reference down in the comment section down below. Anyway, now that we've arrived at Icarus City, it's time for us to battle the Ice-type gym leader, Bryson. To begin the battle, he sends out Vanillish. Long story short, I take out Vanillish in one shot with Psychic. Next up is Discount Urusing, aka Beartick. Unfortunately, does not go down to one Psychic. His Beartick then uses Icicle Crash, doing 40 damage to me, but I still take it out with my second Psychic. Last up, Bryson sends out his worst Pokemon and his ugliest Pokemon, Cryogonal. Now, I'm not a vain person, I don't really care about looks, but Cryogonal is just so butt damn ugly. Let me know if you think Cryogonal is ugly in the comments down below, or if you think it's an uglier Pokemon, let me know in the comments down below. Anyway, Cryogonal is not much of a hassle, as you'll see. He starts off the battle by using a Roar Beam, doing a decent amount of damage to me, and then I hit it with a Psychic doing almost exactly half HP. Then he uses a Roar Beam again, leaving me on 53 HP, but unfortunately for it, I take it out with one more Psychic, winning the battle and claiming ourselves another gym badge. After a brief encounter with N where we don't actually battle, he just talks about his feelings and I pretend to give a crap for about 5 minutes, but don't actually give a crap. In my opinion, feelings are for people who aren't dead inside, and you guys all know that I am dead inside. Now, that's when I thought this game couldn't get any weirder. The adults decided to give me the Life Stone, which is the key to the most powerful Pokemon in the region. I am literally 11 years old in this game, and the champion is standing right next to me. Now, this is a great decision. This is the equivalent of giving like an 11-year-old child like the keys to like the nuclear warheads or something. Mad. This is great. After having an existential crisis about how awful adults are in this game, it's time for us to head over the Two Blind Bridge. And then we arrive in Opelousas City, home of the final gym, which means it's finally time for us to battle Drayden. To begin the battle, Drayden sends out his Fracture. Unfortunately for him, I take it out with one Psychic. I also level up to level 71. Next up is Druddigon. Against Druddigon, I use Psychic, doesn't take it out in one shot, but still leaves it on about a quarter health. Drayden decides to use Revenge, doing very little damage to me, and then I take out Druddigon with one last Psychic. Last but not least is Haxorus. Now, I was pretty sure it wasn't going to be Haxorus my first attempt, because Haxorus is a very strong Pokemon, but I've been wrong before, so let's find out. Haxorus starts the battle by using Assurance, doing over half my health as damage, and will definitely take me out in one more shot. But then the luckiest thing happens, and I not only hit a crit Psychic, but somehow it's enough to take out Haxorus in one shot, winning the battle, and claiming the final gym badge. To be honest, I was almost certain I would not take out Haxorus in the first attempt, and I'd have to do some grinding to actually beat Haxorus, but somehow I got super lucky and won the battle. This happened twice in this game, against the 5th gym and against this gym. Man, I'm getting super lucky on this run. And with the final gym defeated, it's only a short hop and skip, and then tie like half an hour to an hour through Victory Road, and we finally arrive at the Elite Four. And after healing up, it is finally time for the battle of the Elite Four, the final test for Gothita in this game. Now, at the start of the run, I said I would get stuck on Grimsley, so I will attempt him last. Anyway, the start of our Elite Four attempt, we're going to battle Marshall, the fighting type Elite Four member. He decides to send out Throw, and unfortunately for Marshall, Throw goes down to one Psychic. Next up is Minshew. Chat speeds me and uses Retaliate, doing a decent amount of damage, leaving me on just about half HP. Just like Throw though, Minshew goes down to one Psychic. As for his third Pokemon, he sends out Sork. Chat speeds me and uses Stone Edge, but I get lucky and it misses, and then I hit it with a Psychic, which would have taken it out, but it survives with Sturdy. Now he heals Sork up twice with 4 restores, trying to keep it alive, but then eventually he does run out, and then he goes for Stone Edge again, missing once more, and then I take it out with one more Psyshock, and now finally Marshall sends out his Conquador, and unceremoniously I take it out with only one Psychic, winning the battle and beating the first Elite Four member. And now with Marshall defeated, next up is Elite Four member, Caitlin. Now, Caitlin decides to start the battle by sending out her Ranunculus. Sounds like a fucking Harry Potter spell. Anyway, luckily I take it out in one shot with a critical fan attack, which I don't think really mattered, to be honest. Next up is Mushrana. Now, Mushrana is a lot tankier and unfortunately does knock her down to one fan attack. Mushrana uses Shadow Ball on her next turn against me, doing exactly 60 damage. Then my next fan attack leaves Mushrana on exactly 1 HP. Next up, Mushrana hits me with a second Shadow Ball, leaving me on 59 HP. Then unfortunately, Caitlin heals it up with a 4 restore, and after 2 more fan attacks, I finally take out Mushrana. Next up is Sigilyph, which outspeeds me and takes me down with a Shadow Ball. Now, after losing his fight a few times, I decided to leave and grind up. Now, after grinding for what felt like a lifetime, I come back at level 92 and get up to Sigilyph on full health. Now that I am level 92, Sigilyph doesn't do as much damage with Shadow Ball, and my fan attack actually does pretty decent damage, leaving Sigilyph on red HP. Now Caitlin decides to waste 2 4 restores on Sigilyph, while I just use fan attack, knocking it into the red each time. On the turn that she runs out of 4 restores, I use return instead of fan attack for a reason that I can't quite remember. Even though I can't remember the reason, it does knock it into orange HP, and then on the next turn for some reason I go first and take it out with just one last return. Next up is the evolved form of Gothita, Gothita. Now I outspeed Gothita and I hit it with a fan attack, knocking it below half HP, and then it wastes its turn using Calm Mind, then I take it out with a second fan attack. And now that Gothita is down for the count, we have defeated the second Elite Four member, Caitlin. As for the third Elite Four member, next up is Shawntel. He starts off the battle by sending out her Configigas. I start off by using fan attack, leaving Configigas on about a quarter health. Now once again I get super lucky and Configigas misses his Will-O-Wisp, and I take it out with the second fan attack. She follows up Configigas with Jellicent. Now I hit Jellicent with a fan attack, leaving it on red HP, and then it uses Shadow Ball, doing exactly 70 damage. And then Jellicent heals twice with a 4 restore, completely wasting my time. But after that I hit it with another fan attack, leaving it in the red. But then its Curse Body ability disables fan attack, so I have to take out Jellicent with a Psychic. and then she sends out Shawntel. Now I'm forced to use Psychic on Shawntel, so it doesn't take it out, leaves on like a quarter health, so I get to Shadow Ball off, leaving me on 28 health. But then I take it out with one more Psychic. Next up, and our last Pokemon is Golurk. Now before Golurk gets sent out, I get lucky, and Fan Attack is undisabled, so I use it against Golurk, but it doesn't take it out, because my luck is bad, and it takes me out with a Shadow Punch. Guess I have to try again. After a few more attempts, I get up to Golurk again, but this time around I'm on 80 health. I use Psychic on Golurk, knocking it below a quarter of its health, and then for some reason Golurk gives up and takes itself out with Curse, and with that sad note we have defeated another Elite Four member. Last but certainly not least, we have to battle Grimsley, the Dark type Elite Four member. Now this battle is not going to be easy. He sends out Scrafty, which I hit with return, bringing it down to a quarter of its HP. And then Scrafty uses Crunch, leaving me on half my HP already, which is really bad. And then I take it out with one last return. Now to make matters worse, sends out Krokorok, which has the ability to Intimidate, lowering my attack, which is already abysmal. It also gets to go first using Foul Play, leaving me on 50 HP. Now my turn I use return, knocking Krokorok's health below half. Then Krokorok uses Foul Play, taking me out, meaning once again I have to try again. Before trying again, I decide to bite the bullet and grind up to level 100. At level 100 I one-shot Scrafty with return, so I get up to Krokorok at full HP. Now this time around I get super lucky with a crit, taking out Krokorok with one return. To follow up he sends out Bishop, which I hit with return, knocking below half health, and then he uses Night Slash, doing almost 100 damage to me. Now somehow the game screws me over, and it survives my next return, even though I did well over half damage last turn. This means that he gets a free attack, knocking me down to 46 HP. With Night Slash. Then, just so the game can laugh in my face, it heals up with a full restore. Then on my next turn, return does like a quarter damage to Bishop, and then I follow it up with another return, knocking Bishop into the orange. But all this bad luck adds up to me getting killed by one last Night Slash from Bishop. I guess it's time to try one last time. And after a few more attempts and a lot of luck, I get back up to Bishop on full health. I hit it with return, doing a quarter damage. After a few more returns from Gothita and Bishop spamming Night Slash, I somehow managed to take it out with only 38 health left. Last but not least, he sends out Leopard. Now if we don't one-shot Leopard, we lose. Somehow we did manage to take it out with one shot with return. I was surprised when I beat Grimsley, but this isn't the end of the challenge yet. When I enter Anne's castle, 7 grown-ass men think it's cool to bully an 11-year-old kid. Luckily, the gym leaders come to my rescue, so I don't have to beat the shit out of a bunch of old men, because that would be difficult to watch. Anyway, after summoning Reshiram, we have to battle it. In this game, unfortunately, you can't kill it. Trust me, I tried. Anyone who's watched any of my videos knows that nothing brings me more joy than killing legendary Pokemon, but I can't do it, so I catch it with a Master Ball to save time. And now, it is finally time to battle N. I cut out the 5 minutes of me spamming Ultra Balls until N finally killed my Reshiram, meaning it's finally time for Gothita to battle N. Anyway, to start off the battle, Zekrom uses Fusion Bolt, doing about 70 damage to me. And then I use Psychic, forgetting that Light Screen is active, so I do very little damage. Now in the next turn, Zekrom reactivates Light Screen, so I have to use Return, knocking Reshiram into the orange. Then N decides to heal Reshiram with a full restore, but I get lucky with my next return, hitting a crit, knocking Reshiram into the red once again, and almost killing it. For Zekrom's final move, it uses Fusion Bolt again, leaving me on 73 health, and then I take it out with return. Next up, N sends out Caracosta, which I use Psychic on, knocking it under half health, and then Caracosta uses Crunch, leaving me on literally 5 HP. Now just to spite me, Caracosta uses Aqua Jet, which is priority, taking me out. After literally 20 attempts, I managed to beat Zekrom with a decent amount of HP, exactly 152. Now against Caracosta, I have to use Return because Light Screen is still active. Return does less than a quarter damage to Caracosta, which uses Crunch, knocking me down to 88 HP. Then I use Psychic, knocking Caracosta into the red zone. Now with one more Crunch from Caracosta, I am left with 20 HP. And once again, I feel like I am about to win. It heals with a full restore. My next Psychic knocks Caracosta into the red, and then the enemy's Light Screen finally wears off. But again, that doesn't matter because I'm taken out by an Aqua Jet. At this point I realized it was going to take a lot of luck to win this battle, and to get that luck it took me 25 attempts. So once again I get up to Caracosta, and I hit it with a Psychic while Light Screen isn't active, and I am on full HP, but I also forget that Caracosta has 30. On its turn it uses Crunch, leaving me on 154 HP. Now I don't know if this is a glitch or whatever, or the game's taking pity on me, but for some reason neither Caracosta or Zekrom healed even when they were on like no HP. So I don't know what happened there, but whatever. So I managed to finally take out Caracosta because of this glitch or whatever. Next up is Archaeops. Archaeops starts off the battle by using Acrobatics, leaving me on 76 HP. And then I take it out with one Psychic. And next up he sends out his Klinklang. I hit Klinklang with Psychic, leaving me on about a quarter of its HP. And then he hits me with Hyper Beam, leaving me on 28 HP. And then I finish it off with one last Psychic. And as for N's last Pokemon, it's Zoroark, which takes me out with Flamethrower. And I'm sorry to say this is the end of the challenge. Unfortunately, there is no way that I can beat this challenge. It might be possible, but the amount of luck that it takes to even get up to Zoroark is unbelievable. I attempted this fight like 100 times, and I only got up to him twice. Now you're probably all in the comments saying, why don't you just use healing items or use more TMs? TMs. I don't see the point in that because obviously you can do anything with TMs and healing items. I only used one TM in this run that was return, and that was just so I wouldn't have to grind so early. But to be honest, I'm perfectly happy with where I got up to. Honestly, at the start of this challenge, if you heard in the rules, I didn't even think I was going to make it past Grimsley. So to make it to end and almost win is pretty impressive in my book. Now, even though this challenge was pretty difficult, I still enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. Now, if you did enjoy it, please leave a like on the video if you haven't already, and subscribe to the channel if you're new, or if you just watch the videos and haven't subscribed yet, because I really appreciate it. Also, why not take a time to just comment? Also, why not comment down below what your favorite Pokemon is in Gen 5, or any challenge ideas that you might have, and I might try them out in a future video. And if I do try out your idea, I will give you a shout out of the YouTube channel in that video. And with that, I guess it's goodbye for now, and I'll see you guys in the next video.